They told us the Dark Ages happened, 1,000 years of nothing, no progress, no art, no knowledge, just disease, filth, war, and starvation. But that story is a complete fabrication, a lie stitched into the timeline like a cancer. The truth? There were no Dark Ages. The so-called medieval period is a placeholder. They inserted false time to confuse us. We are not in the year 2025. It's closer to 1025. They've lied about the calendar, lied about the history, and lied about the very foundations of the world we live in. Why would they do this? Because they need us to believe that we are the peak of human progress, that we are the most advanced we've ever been. But open your eyes. Do you feel advanced? We're living in tiny boxes. We work jobs that drain our souls. We eat fake food, breathe poisoned air. We've been severed from nature, from truth, and from each other. They tell us it's progress, but it's regression. Before the reset, before the great mud flood, there was a different world, one where cities were filled with beauty, towering architecture powered by free energy, domes and spires, harmonics and frequency. The old world wasn't primitive, it was advanced, far more than anything we see now. You can see it in the buildings they try to call Victorian or colonial. Lies. Those buildings were inherited, not built by the people who claim them. They were part of the old world, the Tartarian world, a world of balance, power, and harmony. And what happened to it? They destroyed it, reset it, buried it, literally. That's why we dig and find whole cities underground, not basements, entire levels of civilization beneath our feet, covered in mud. Buildings with windows under the ground, doors leading nowhere, cathedrals half sunk into the earth. That's the reset, that's the flood. And after the flood came the lie. They rewrote everything, invented fake famines, fake poverty, fake plagues. They told us people were dying in the streets, while in reality they were erasing the memory of a golden age. They told us that the world was always hard and brutal so that we'd accept our own suffering as normal, but it's not normal. The famine, the poverty, the chaos, it all started after the reset, not before. Before the reset, energy was free. Water flowed clean, food was abundant, health was strong, no junk medicine, no pharmaceuticals, no GMO crops. People were taller, stronger, happier, and above all, they were free. But now, we're prisoners, chained by a fake monetary system that only benefits the elites. We go to school to be programmed, we go to work to be drained, we go to the doctor to be poisoned. All of it built on the lie that we are progressing. We're not progressing, we've been descending, spiritually, physically, mentally. The previous generations weren't cave-dwelling barbarians. They were the gods of myth, the titans of architecture, the masters of sound, light, magnetism. They knew how to live in tune with the earth. We, on the other hand, are taught to hate nature, to fear the sun, to stay inside, to inject chemicals and worship machines. And that's not advancement, that's slavery. And they make it look glamorous. Cities filled with screens, endless scrolling, simulated happiness. But what have we really gained? Convenience or control? Technology today is not made to free us. It's made to track us, predict us, own us. And all of this is only possible because of the lie of history. If they can convince you that your ancestors were primitive, then you'll never ask what really came before. You'll never look at those old world buildings and wonder how they were built. You'll never question why the Dark Ages had aqueducts, star forts, and perfect geometric cities, while we can barely build roads that don't crack. They've removed our memory, they've cut the timeline, and they've filled the gap with horror stories of peasants, of plagues, of monarchies, and brutality. But those were part of the takeover, not the truth of our past. They want us to believe that misery is the default state of humanity, so we'll tolerate anything, so we won't remember what real life feels like. This is not the first time they've done it. The cycle repeats. Civilization rises in harmony, and when the people become too powerful, they trigger the reset, the flood, the war, the fire. Then they rewrite history and pretend they built it all themselves. And every time we forget, but not this time, we are remembering, we are seeing the cracks in their narrative. We are looking at the timeline and realizing something is very wrong. Events that should be 1,000 years apart seem like they happened side by side. Old books printed with impossible dates, paintings of people in so-called ancient times using telescopes, electricity, balloons, and strange technologies. The lies are everywhere, and the truth is rising like a tide. We are not in 2025. That's just a number they gave us. We are barely past the last reset. We are not the most advanced. We are the most controlled. But if we can remember, we can break out. We can reclaim what was stolen, our free energy, our free minds, our real history, and our human freedom. Everything around you has been designed to make you forget who you are. That's why the buildings look like prisons. That's why the food makes you sick. That's why the media keeps you afraid. But the moment you start remembering, really remembering, the system starts to break. Because you were never meant to be a cog in their machine. You were meant to be free, connected to nature, powered by truth, living in beauty. And all of that still exists. Under the mud, in the cracks, in the ruins they pretend are just old buildings. They didn't build the world, they inherited it, then they ruined it. But we're still here, and we are waking up. The real Dark Age is now. The fake Dark Ages were invented to hide that, but the light is breaking through again, and once you see it, you can never go back. So ask questions, dig deep, look at the architecture, listen to your instincts, stop believing the timeline, and never again believe them when they say, "You are the best we've ever been." Because we are not, but we can be, if we remember what they made us forget.